So it's Wednesdays with Tico and Terrah, and one of the things we kind of got into a subject, we were talking about impact that people have on our lives and the importance of the things people say and do, and why, some of them can be negative and some of them could be positive. But if we could share the positive ones that just last, the negative ones last forever too. Woo, because then you start trying to clean those up. But the positive ones, man, they have such an impact that when you see that person, you really want to tell them what they said or did that, that affected you. So Tico's going to tell us a little bit about his story with Marla Gibbs and doing 227. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story, the impact that Danny Glover had on me, which he has no idea. I don't even know if he consciously did this, but I'm going to tell you this story.
Okay, so I have to say this. I did the Able Show yesterday. Check out the Able Show on YouTube. And after I did, during my interview, I told a story about how Marla Gibbs from the Jeffersons in 227. I came out here, was living in New York, came out for an audition for a pilot, didn't get the pilot, but I got an episode of 227. And I didn't have a place to stay. And they were like, well, that ain't our problem. And when Marla found out about it, she was livid. And she asked these people, how would you feel if that was your son and he didn't have a place to stay? Would you just let him to be out there homeless or whatever? And before the day was over, I had a nice apartment in West Hollywood. And that is what I remember most about my experience on 227 and working with Marla Gibbs. And the second thing is that just hit me just now on this trail was sometimes people can say something to you that makes an impact on your life that lasts a lifetime. And what Marla said to me was, after we did some scenes, she said, you could always tell the trained actors. She said, you don't just act to the door, you act through the door. And she really appreciated that. And I really appreciated that somebody saw my value and my hard work and my years of learning and studying and dedicating myself. So sometimes you can make a statement to somebody that has a negative impact for the rest of their life or a positive impact for the rest of their life.
So years ago, I was working with these gentlemen. I was going to produce a project with them. Now, I'm not going to call names, but they had this idea to do some kind of production thing, and they wanted Danny Glover to be a part of it. So we found out that Danny Glover was going to be at this particular event, and so the three of us were going to go. Now, mind you, neither of them had a car. I'm the only one that had a car, so I had to go pick them individually up at their house, take them to the event, and obviously bring them back home. So we get to the event, and we're walking. They're like, okay, there's Danny. So we're walking over to meet Danny. Now, we're walking like this, a line, three of us. I'm in the middle. One's on the end, one's on the other, and we're walking like this. Then all of a sudden, as we got closer and closer to Danny, they started to do this. Mr. Glover, and he says, yes. Now, mind you, I'm somewhere behind this. So this is the one, this is the other, and I'm in the middle. Danny Glover, as he's talking and being very nice, he reached his hand in, parted the ways, took me and gently pulled me out so that I was seen. That has stayed with me forever and ever and ever and ever, because it was that simple thing that someone did that said, you are to be seen. You are not invisible. And people subconsciously, those guys were subconsciously doing something they didn't even realize, or maybe they did, that they were closing me out. And I was being closed out. Now, if it was me today, I'd be like, excuse me. But me back then, I cowered. But Danny didn't let that happen. So to you, Danny Glover, if you ever see this, I want you to know that made an impact. So people. So with that said, what do you want to say on the closing of that? Make choices to uplift in any way you can.
Yeah. Be a benefit. Be an asset.
Be an asset and not an ass. Have a good day. See you next Wednesday.